Welcome everyone to Selective Prep Power Thinking Skills. Today we're looking at test 43. We have 10 questions that we have selected and we will be going through the solutions to all 10. Let's look at the first one. First question was a matching arguments question. Remember, for these ones we want to replace the replaceable words, the juice of the question, with letters. Then we are left with the skeleton or the outside structure, which we can then compare with the options. So in a specific ecosystem, if the population of frogs grows too high, if A happens, then B will happen. If A happens, then B will happen. Therefore, the introduction of snakes, C, which reduces the number of frogs, which reduces A, will preserve B. So therefore, if C happens, which will cause A, B will be saved, or B will happen. That's structure of C. If the fire alarm goes off, you should evacuate. If A happens, then you should do B. Okay, then is kind of in there. Okay, and if is here. Therefore, even if someone burns toast, even if C happens, in which case the fire alarm A will happen, you should B, evacuate. Okay, you see the structure is basically there. Okay, have a look at this. It's just a cleaner version of what I've written. So these questions are quite easy if you realize how to solve them. Number 2. So this is more of a logical statement, logical thinking question. I have a number. To find me, take all the digits of the largest 4-digit number and add them together. Largest 4-digit number with no digits the same. Start with 9,876. Okay, so giving the 9 to the biggest one. When we add it together, you get 17 plus 13, which is 30. Divide that number by the first month of winter. So the first month of winter is June, which is the 6th month. Okay, so divide it by 6 and you get 5. Now I want to multiply the answer by itself. Times 5 is 25. Take 1 away from that number, you get 24, and divide it by the number of quarts in a gallon. They've given you a hint, but you can tell from the word quart, it means 4, is divided by 4. Okay, and you get 6. Add the result to the number of babies in quintuplets. Quintuplets means 5. Quins or quins in French, okay, means 15. So that is to represent 5. Okay, so add it to 5 and you get 11. So 11 is your answer here, or option C. Okay. Next, number 3. So identify the assumption. Let's find the main idea. Therefore, care should be taken to not use excessive numbers of power cords and plug splitters, as this may cause too much current to be drawn, starting a fire. So what is the assumption? The assumption is that just because we use excessive numbers of power cords and plug splitters, we will cause a fire because the current is drawn too much. However, in reality, we don't have fires blowing up in every single house, and there's not a lot of safety regulation to do with that we know. And the reason is because, option C, the assumption is that houses do not have other methods of protecting against the issue of too much current through the wires. Just because this is true, putting too much current will cause it to burn up, doesn't mean that it will definitely happen in all houses. Okay, we're assuming that there are no protective features there. So C is the answer. Number 4, this was a very tricky pattern, okay? But to kind of show you how to get it, you see that these numbers are close. These are basically like double, and this number is an odd one out. So you know the pattern isn't moving downwards. It's probably to do across, okay? Something's working across. Because the digit is so small, I'm going to look at the individual digits. So if I add these digits together, 2 plus 7 is 9, 9 plus 8 is 17. Add these together, 4 plus 6 is 10, we have 13. You minus it and you get the middle one. So let's try this one, 299. 9, 9, 18 plus 2 is 20. 9 sevens are 16 plus 3 is 19. You minus and you get 1 whole. Option B. Number 5, draw a conclusion if it's true or not. So let's use our highlighter. We basically say that in modern aircraft, okay, because in the past it was a fire staying awake in the past, but in modern aircraft they're flown mostly automatically with minimal pilot input only required to set up the hours-long journey to the other side of the world. So we're talking about the pilot input. Now it's more automatic, then they don't have to stay awake for as long. So the best conclusions represent that summary, and that's why D is the answer. Modern day aircraft will most likely still be able to get their destination successfully if the pilot fell asleep mid-flight. This is important because it links to the staying awake and the automatic bits that we highlighted. Okay, so D is the best answer here. 6, we have an ordering question. We have 5 famous cities, and let's look at the itinerary. Carissa goes to London before Madrid, so London comes before Madrid. Paris is not her first nor her last destination. Okay, we'll leave that for now. She has visited Berlin immediately after London. So Berlin comes after London. Madrid is the third stop. So that means we have 2 after Madrid. And we know Paris isn't her last, so Paris must be 4th. So the last one must be Amsterdam. So going in that order, we can see that it's London, Berlin, Madrid, Paris, and then Amsterdam, which is option C. Right, number 7, a pattern question. Let's solve the matrix. First thing to do in patterns is to look at the macro pattern. How is the pattern moving? You can see that as we go vertically, the shapes remain the same, but they just change up the colors and shading a bit, which means that this travel is going downwards. Okay, this pattern is traveling downwards, sorry. So looking at each of the ones that have already been filled out, we have circles on this one, squares on this one, and this megaphone looking shape, okay, or like a vase or cup. So you can see that in each of the boxes, there are 3 types of shadings. We have grey, white, white, grey, and a merged one. Okay, same as the box. We have a white, grey here, and we have a merged one. Now we need a grey, white. So grey, white, you can cancel out C and D, which have white, grey. Now between A and B, it's an easy pick. It's B, right? Because you need a line between the square-ended line thing. You can see that the line thing is actually moving clockwise. Okay, it's going clockwise 90 degrees. Sorry, anti-clockwise 90 degrees each time. So you want it to be upright like this with the black thing on the bottom. Okay, so that's why B is confirmed as our answer. Okay, number 8. The main bits of importance in the first paragraph is why how they're getting the prize. Score over 25 points and bonus prize if they're able to make 3 shots in a row. So Kobe says we can make 3 baskets in a row, so we'll get 1 prize. I scored a total of 25 points. We won't get a prize there because we want over 25. So therefore I'll receive 1 prize. They are correct. LeBron says I scored 26 points, so they will get 1 prize for that, but unable to make a 3 shots, so no prize, no bonus prize. I will receive 1 prize is correct. So both of them have correct reasonings, so C is the answer. Question 9. 3 children play 2 separate games altogether. In how many ways can the prize be won? So we can have game 1 and game 2. So remember, we can have the combinations if both of them are won by the same person. That's 3. Okay, but we can also have the combination where game 1 is won by one person and game 2 is won by another. So AB, AC, and BC. So the games, remember, can be switched around. It's just the prizes that we're interested in. Who gets the prize, not who gets the prize for which game. Okay, so that's why there is 3 here. which accounts for the combination. So AB and swap over BA, they're the same thing because A gets a price and B gets a price. So the option D is the answer, 3 plus 3. Okay? And our last question, your only competition is yourself. What is this saying trying to get people to stop? So if your best and only competition is yourself, you are not going to be judging or looking at other people. And in other words, you are not going to be comparing yourself to other people, okay? Because the competition is within, it's with yourself. So that's why A is the correct answer. Okay, it's encouraging people to stop comparing with others and to focus on self-improvement. You now read of the solutions to see why B, C, D are not the best answers here. Okay, so some key points. I want to talk about, first of all, patterns, okay? Especially for matrix, okay? So especially for the matrix or 9 or 3 by 3 grid patterns, okay? Please make sure you are zooming out and looking at the macro pattern first. What I mean by that, okay? How is the overall pattern moving? Is it going vertically, diagonally, or horizontally? Okay, you have to establish this before you go in, or else you're going to get too stuck on the little elements and you'll never be able to solve it, okay? The next thing I want you to think about is the assumption questions, okay? The assumption questions, you need to establish the conclusion or summary of the given argument, okay? After doing this, we can determine what assumption is made, okay? What is inferred in the text. Right, so hopefully that helped you guys, and please review those points for next time. I'll see you then.